Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sober School, where you can always find experience, strength, and hope. My name is Drew. I'm an alcoholic. We want to welcome you to this platform here today, regardless of what your addiction may be. You're welcome here. We support your pathway to recovery. And whichever pathway is that you choose, well, we're here to help. We definitely want to make sure that it works for you. If you're watching this through the Recovery Classroom Facebook group page, we encourage you to share your own experience, strength, and hope, and your own words of wisdom. You never know who needs to hear what it is you have to say, and it could just change someone's life, including your own. I want to kind of wrap things up. Over the last couple of days, we have been talking about accountability and responsibility. Whose responsibility is it to get sober, to get clean and sober, and to stay clean and sober? It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility. I'm responsible for me, period. I can't blame it on anyone inside or outside of the rooms of AA. I can't blame it on a family member. I can't blame it on my dogs. I can't blame it on the environment. I can only blame it on me if I am not successful at my efforts. I know this all because I tried it back in 2013 when I first came into the rooms, and I said, oh, they're talking about God, or oh, this person said this, or oh, that person said that. Or, oh, that person looked like an asshole. So that gave me the reason to not get sober. Okay, whatever. Well, that's part of the effort of these last few messages. I want to take that excuse away from you. In other words, I want to prepare you for some things that you might see sometimes, very few times. But I just want to take away the shock, right? The things I've shared with you over the last couple of days about certain meetings that unfortunately are out there, that's not the norm. Those are not the norm. Matter of fact, I think I said it the other day, for every maybe one bad meeting, you're going to have about 1,000 great meetings, 10,000 great people that you're going to meet in those other meetings who truly have your best interest at heart. One bad meeting does not mean that every meeting in AA is the same one. And that's where the accountability comes in. See, me as a member of the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, if I'm asking you to work an honest program, but I'm refusing to be honest about that program, doesn't that kind of sound like a double standard? See, and that's not me. That's not who I am. If I'm going to ask you to be honest and work an honest program, then by God, I need to be honest about me, and I need to be honest about the program that I'm asking you to work. So before I go any further, again, let me preface all of this by saying one bad meeting, two bad meetings, does not mean that the other 10,000 meetings that are going on at the same time are the same way. No two meetings are alike, just as no two people are alike, just as no two recoveries are identical. See? And that's the key. That's the beautiful thing about AA. So, if anything, I'm taking away your excuse, the excuse that I tried to use myself a couple years back to say this is why I couldn't get sober. I shared this yesterday. I want to reiterate it again today. See, I didn't get sober for my family. I didn't get sober for my friends. I didn't get sober for the people in the rooms of AA. I got sober for me. But the inverse can be true too, sometimes if we're not careful. You see, don't not get sober for the people in AA. Don't not get sober for somebody else because you don't like what they had to say or you don't like what they had to share. So how stupid is that? That's like taking poison and expecting it to kill the other person. Resentments, right? And that's something I've wanted to make sure that I keep myself honest. Just last night, I made a phone call to someone whose opinion I value greatly in the program, and I was like, I need you to keep me honest. I need you to keep me in check. And she said, you're good. Okay. All right. That's all I need to know. Because at the end of the day, my only desire is to welcome the newcomer, not run them off. My only desire is to help that newcomer identify with the program the way that folks did it with me back in July of 2021. See, I was a newcomer too. And now nobody ran me off, thank God, but I ran myself off. I don't want the newcomer coming in today to run himself off, and I sure as fuck don't want somebody in the rooms running that newcomer off either. So that's my goal. That's all my goal is to make sure the newcomer knows that, hey, you're not alone in this. We're here to support you. We're here to help you. With all that, I'll wrap up with this. Meeting makers make it, right? We've always heard that. There's another saying, though, that is just as true. Meeting makers break it. Those of us who are part of the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, we have that responsibility to whenever, when we tell people what they can and can't do, can and can't say inside of the meetings that we're participating in, well, we risk their sobriety. We jeopardize them going back out and relapsing. And in some cases, unfortunately, they relapse with fatal consequences. And that's what we don't want. So meeting makers make it, but the meeting makers can also break it if we're not careful, if we don't remember to put our principles before our personalities, if we make sure that our principles are coming ahead of our pride. And see, that's where I've seen a lot of problems with a few meetings. Again, just a few, not all. So, with all this being said, yes, there is an accountability, and I'm going to hold myself accountable, and don't think for a single solitary second I'm not going to hold other members of the Fellowship of AA accountable either. That's not me. I'm going to call it when I see it. All right. I'm not Angel Hernandez in Major League Baseball. My friends will really appreciate that joke, but I'm going to call it like I see it. That was a really bad joke. I apologize. I need to 10-step that. I'm going to call it like I see it. So I'm going to hold myself to that very standard that I expect and ask the newcomers to hold themselves to as well. Meeting makers break it. I don't want to break the meeting for the newcomer coming into the room. You know why? Because I want them to come back. I want them to experience, even if only for a minute, that glimmer of hope that I experienced in July of 2021, that whenever there was no hope possible, that's all I want them to do. So I have a responsibility to make sure that I am doing my part anyway, to make the meeting welcoming, inviting, and making the newcomer feel like they truly are welcome back. And with that, that's all I'm trying to do. So I'm going to wrap up on this topic, and we are going to move on to a couple other topics over the course of the next couple of days. So I appreciate you guys letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day, especially with these last few days. The topics of these last few days, they can get kind of icky, kind of sticky. All right. So I appreciate you guys letting me come in. You keep me sober, and I couldn't be more grateful to all of you who let me come in and share some of my thoughts with you in the morning. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. I hope you have a kick-ass Sunday. If you need anything, feel free to reach out. Drop us a message down here in the Recovery Classroom Facebook group page. If you're watching us through a forum outside, a different forum outside of the Recovery Classroom, we encourage you to come and check out the Recovery Classroom Facebook group page. You can just, in your Facebook group, Facebook search bar, just type in Recovery Classroom. It should pop right up. So, and if you're new to the Recovery Classroom, we do encourage you to share your own experience, strength, and hope, because I've seen it. Just a few words can truly change people's lives. I was witnessing it firsthand last night with a newcomer. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. I hope you guys have a kick-ass Sunday. Remember, guys, you cannot get drunk if you don't take that first drink.